Okay. My biography speech is on Clara Luper. She is one of our Oklahomans, a civil rights leader, and it was over 50 years ago that Katz drugstore sit-ins were the first civil rights protests in the nation, executed by children ages of 6 to 17. It sparked protests in Oklahoma City that lasted more than 4 years. Clara Luper was the daughter of Ezell and Isabel Wilkerson's shepherd. She was born May the 3rd, 1923, in the rural Ufusky County, Oklahoma. She was responsible for these sit-ins in Oklahoma City. She was a civil rights leader. During the civil rights movement. And she was arrested 26 times for this, during the sit-in protest. She led a protest for Oklahoma City sanitation workers in 1969 to get better pay and working conditions. She was a public school teacher, but she was often criticized for protesting because she was a teacher. She was also advisor of the Youth Council for the NAACP. She established a Freedom Center for the youth to give them a place to go for activities, in which it had to be rebuilt because there was a bonfire on September 10th, 1968. Today, we'll just discuss some of her accomplishments. She had so many, I just had to break it down and try to narrow it down to the sit-ins. So, her efforts and struggles helped to change segregation in Oklahoma and racism across the nation by sitting in on the longest nonviolent movement in history. The beginning of Clara Luper's civil rights in Oklahoma City was she had wrote a play for Dr. Martin Luther King, and it was so good they were invited to New York to perform. Once she got to New York with her students, they actually experienced being able to go to a restaurant and order and sit there and eat. So when they got back here, they wanted to know why they couldn't go in the restaurant and eat. So after about a year, they scheduled a sit-in at the Katz Drug here in Oklahoma City, which she led 13 children, and they sat there. They sat there and they were refused service. They left. They came back the next day and they sat there. They left. They came back the next day and they were able to order and eat there. That was 3 days later, and Katz Drug Store integrated and started serving blacks. During the next 6 years, NAACP held sit-ins that led to desegregation of mostly all restaurants in Oklahoma City. Clara Luper hosted a radio show, which she was able to spread the word and get support for the sit-ins. She also joined some of the dangerous civil rights movements, marches in Selma, which they marched from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama in 1965, among other national activities. She also wrote an autobiography, Beyond the Walls. For this lady to be such a hero here in Oklahoma City, it was hard to find any information on her. That was one book. One book, and you had to sit there in the library and read it. So most of my sources were from Daily Oklahoma, encyclopedias. It was just hard to find any information on it. She was inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame in 2007. She received many awards, including An award in 2009, National Education Association Rosa Parks Memorial Award, Langston University Award, and it was Clara Lupa and other civil rights leaders' struggles and efforts that segregation was outlawed in public facilities when President Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, June 2nd, 1962.